This is John Kelly from the Kelly Law Team. I want to talk to you about a personal injury lawsuit and a step-by-step timeline of what to expect. So in full disclosure, every case is different when it comes to timelines, but all of them have some things in common. So I'm going to go over, in general, what you might expect if you're in an injury case and the timelines to expect what to happen. So we're going to go down the list here. The first thing is the accident, the actual injury. So within 10 minutes of the accident, you can expect that you're going to be going through the scenario of calling the police, getting your witnesses there, possibly getting treatment for your injuries. If you're injured badly, you may have a hospital called and an ambulance coming out, 911. So that's a scenario, but within the first 10 minutes, you want to, if you are able to, make sure you get a report. So if you're on the roads, you want to call 911. And get the police to come out to take a statement. If you're on someone's property, you want to notify the property owner. If you are in a commercial business, you want to call for a manager and have them take a report of what happened. So you want to start getting that documentation within 10 minutes. Within 1 week of this injury, you want your medical treatment set up. So you may have already had that done. Hey, if you were transported via ambulance to the hospital, obviously that's all going to be getting done already. You would have your referrals after the hospital. But if it's a more minor injury, and you're feeling pains and aches and you need to get some treatment, don't put it off longer than 1 week. So within 1 week, you can expect that you want to be to your primary care doctor or another facility that helps with injured patients and starting to get that documentation. So, and the sooner the better on that, because insurance companies, they love to claim that you weren't injured because you waited too long. And there's a lot of people that just like to fight through their injuries and say, maybe it's going to get better, but you want that documentation. Within 1 week too, you can expect that it's a good idea to reach out to a lawyer for at least a free consultation. Most lawyers, including myself, will talk to you about what you've been through, what to expect with your injuries, what to expect with the insurance companies, and that's the important one. So you want to reach out to a lawyer, at least get a consultation. You may want to hire them later, you may want to hire them right away. Really doesn't matter. At least get a consultation because it's free and it's going to give you some good advice, especially given your jurisdiction. If you're in Arizona, there's different laws than if you're in California. So you kind of want to know. Next, and that kind of goes with it, is speaking to the insurance companies. So if there's insurance involved with, say, an auto accident, they may be calling you within 1 week, so usually 1 to 5 days after the accident. They want to get a statement. They possibly want to talk to you about your injuries. They may even want to try to make you an offer. So those are things to expect. Insurance companies will start reaching out to you. If you haven't reported it to them, someone else may have reported it. So that's why the consultation with an attorney is a good idea. Generally, you don't want to make a statement about your injuries. You can tell them, look, I'm injured. I'm looking at possibly retaining someone. Property damage, that's, again, within 1 week to 4 weeks right after the accident. You can talk to a property damage adjuster about your vehicle, what's going on with it, where it's at. Get that out of the way. Typically, I have my clients try to get that resolved within the first 2 weeks of the accident so that they're in a new vehicle. If they can drive, they don't have to worry about that. If it's on a premises, property damage doesn't necessarily come into play quite as much, but that's something that can get settled out of the way before anything else takes place. So now we're a couple of weeks into it. You've already got your treatment set up. You've reached out to an attorney. You've talked to the insurance company, at least have a claim number. Follow back up with the investigation. Get the police report. So within 1 week, you want to try to get that police report. Now, some agencies will tell you, look, the reports are only available 10 days after the accident. If it's a more serious accident, they may say it's going to be 20 days until we have this report ready. But you want to follow up with the detective and ask him when that report's going to be ready, and get that report as soon as you can, because there's going to be very key information in the report. And if you had an accident on the premises, you want to try to ask the manager for their reports, and get any kind of documentation you can, witness statements, people lined up, so that if you do need to litigate the case, you'll have that information. The documentation's already going to be getting set up. Treatment. Now, this is usually the longest portion of your claim. So from the date of the accident, you may treat for a week, and then you may be better. You may just go to the primary care doctor, get some pain pills, and then you're done. More likely, it'll be 3 weeks, 3 months, up to a year. I even have some clients go up for 2 years with their treatment status. Now, the one thing you want to know is your statute of limitations, and it's different in every state. You may have a 1-year statute of limitations, you may have a 2-year, and depending on the kind of accident you have, it'll be different. But you have to bring a lawsuit within the statute of limitations. So if you have a 2-year statute of limitations and you're treating for 1.5 years, you got to know, you may be having to reach out to an attorney to get them to file a lawsuit on your claim. And if you're treating for that long, you'd hopefully probably have a lawyer retained by then. But the treatment phase is usually the longest, and you don't need to worry too much about the insurance companies during this time. Just getting better, you're progressing, you're keeping your documentation. If they're calling you all the time asking for updates, it's not really a great thing. You probably want to just tell them, look, I'm treating, I'll tell you what happened at the end of the claim. So then after you're done treating, that's the collection of the records stage and the summary of your treatment. So that could take another week or 2 for you to get all those records in. One practice point, if you go to the hospital, you want to request those records right away. They can take up to 3 months to come in. So if you go to the hospital, just recognize that it can take a long time for you to get those records in. Order those right away. But when you're done treating with everyone else, say you go to physical therapy, after you're done treating, that's when you want the full bills and records from them. Once you get those full bills and records in, your hospital visit, if you have it, any other records related, the ambulance bill, you want to include every single thing. That's when you get to the stage of now you're in demand. And that could take you a week to put together, get a summary of what you've been through, demand on the insurance company. What I typically give them is 30 days from the date of the accident to respond to my demand. So it could take up to 45 days. They sometimes ask for extensions, but then you should be getting an offer in on your case. Once you get an offer, you can expect at least a couple of weeks for negotiation back and forth. Sometimes it can go faster. If they make a fair offer, you may get it done within the first couple of days, but you want to try to get as much as you can from them. If you are able to settle the claim at that point, they then typically will send you out the checks. It may take a week or so for you to get that in, and to get that all taken care of. Now, always remember, you also possibly have liens to take care of. If you have a hospital visit, you'll want to negotiate those liens. If you have providers that have worked on a lien, like your physical therapy, you may want to call them up and negotiate those down as much as possible. So that's, again, if you do have hospital visits, a little more serious injury, it's probably a good idea to talk to an attorney, because they can work your liens and make sure you know that you're not going to settle your claim and then realize that you have a big medical bill due and owing to the hospital. Because they can kind of bite you at the end of the case, where they say, well, your insurance paid a certain amount to us, but we can do what we call balance bill, and that's possible in Arizona. So just make sure you're getting all those things taken care of at that point of settlement. Now, at that point, your claim's done. You're through the whole process. It may have taken you a year, may have taken you 4 months, may have taken you 2 years, but hopefully you were able to do that and avoid litigation. If you do have to go to litigation, that's a whole nother timeline for another segment, but it can go on for years. It could be a year, it could be 2 years with litigation. So That's probably for another video. If you have any questions about this, just feel free to call me. It's Kelly Law Team. You can call me at 602-283-4122. Thank you.